I could have swore we just had 4 people in the spectator slot. Like, what? 4 people? What? Okay. Also, hello, everyone. I am Gander of the gaming clan, Voxel Clan. Good to be back with all of you fine folks today for Dominion Televised number 4. The reason it is number 4 is because we skipped number 3. Number 3 was skipped due to Azubu Crystal Cup 2 that ran last weekend. And that brings us to today. DT number 4. The first game that we're going to be commentating is going to be Wine and Cheese versus Abusement Park. And joining me today as co-commentary is...
What is up, guys? It's GGB here, and, well, it's been a while since me and Gander have casted. Both of us took a break for DT number 2. DT number 3, we had the Azubu Cup, and then now we're back with DT number 4.
And I'm just waiting for the bracket to load here so I can get the titles and things made. And yes, we are ready. Asking for everybody to check in there. That's kind of cool. They increased the number of spectators in games. That makes it easier to shuffle rosters around. Which is pretty cool.
Makes it much more easier. So right now we're in game 1. We got Abusement Park versus Wine and Cheese, and I'm looking around and I'm seeing all my favorite names. A lot of good players on each of these teams, and I can't wait to see this game go out. So right now we have Malzahar banned out, first ban. Malzahar, great bot lane champion. Probably considered, in my own opinion, since I barely played Dominion, but when I played, the Malzahar was to me like impossible for me to beat, just because anytime he can switch his build, go flat AD, flat AP, or hybrid if that's possible. Then Cassiopeia being knocked out. Cassiopeia, great mage, a lot of burst damage, has that ultimate that annoys us but is one of the trickiest ultimates to land.
Yeah, Cassiopeia has a very solid amount of sustained damage output as well, and a lot of AoE makes her difficult to deal with at times. Vi being picked out. Vi, a really good champion to take out. Vi has some... what's the word I want to use here? Vi has good damage. I wanted to say something better than that, but that's all I came up with. The armor reduction is nice. Her sustained damage is good. She's a durable character. She fits into that, brawler bruiser role really, really well. And we're seeing Maokai kicked out. Maokai, far and away, one of the most powerful characters on this map. His durability, his disruption ability, and his sustainability are just so high. And there's really no easy in-game solution to him outside of like Kog'Maw, Vayne, Kayle, any like crazy late-game champion like that. It's really the only thing that you have to deal with that champion. Throughout the early and middle portions of the game, Maokai is very difficult to manage, and it's much easier to take him out with one ban than spending potentially all of your comp trying to build around him being there. And Leona, another one of the bans being thrown down. Leona brings a lot of crowd control to the table. She's an excellent soak as well. Just outright one of the better tanky champions in the game. And there's one more ban left available. We'll see who they decide to spend that on. There's a lot of good targets for bans in this map. And Den says I have a lot of echo on my mic. And
is there an echo?
And J4 is going to get taken out as well. I'm going to see if it's set, what pattern it's set on, and see if there's anything that I can do about that.
It could also be my mic, because I do have a fan running right behind me.
No, my mic's on the right pattern. It might be GGB with the fan in the background.
Yeah, right now it's like burning hot. So Jarvan was the final ban for Wine and Cheese. Jarvan, a great tank overall. That leaves Braum open, so we could potentially see some Braum gameplay this game. And Fizz taken right away by blue team. Chain Gang just taking it up right now. And Fizz is a great mage. Has a lot of burst damage. Once he gets going, Fizz gets going. There's no way, there's not that much you can stop with him unless you're able to absolutely 100% CC him down, exhaust him, reduce all of his damage, or somehow kick him out of the game.
Ooh. And on the subject of difficult champions to deal with, and it sounds like we're going to be saying that a lot because the longer that Dominion has gone on, we've really seen the overall total number of champions that are being played in competition go up considerably from when, I don't know, maybe it was like 20 champions to probably about 40 different ones that get rotated through really regularly in competition. We're seeing a Zyra pick, and Zyra, one of the 2 plant champions, both excellent on this map. Great zoning ability. She is easy to kill, however, but it's the problem of getting to her. Because of the slows and snares that she has, it's difficult to close in the range unless you're playing some sort of assassin like Talon who can easily stealth in and jump to her. But at the same time, because of her AoE ability and the way that her plants linger, and with her passive, it's difficult to really put a damper on her damage that she can deal during a fight. And Zyra's that play safe, it's a question of can you even get to her anyway. Zyra's with good positioning can really help run the show. And then Pantheon's always been a great champion. Brings a stun to the table, good at finishing people, global map presence, things that we've talked about for a long time here. And he's sort of seen some ups and downs in popularity depending upon whether the character's been good, but all around nice character. He can also run pretty good interference for anyone that wants to get through and pick up Zyra with that stun.
Yeah, now we do see Xin Zhao and Braum being locked in. As I said before, Braum being open is now finally taken. We're going to finally see some Braum play. It is actually going to be my first time seeing Braum played in competitive Dominion. I don't run into it often in solo queue for both Summoner's Rift and Dominion because not that many people play it in Dominion from where I'm at in my MMR for Dominion, and also in solo queue it's kind of banned either way. Xin Zhao being picked up, Xin Zhao just overall, he's like Vi, but a much weaker version in retrospect of how he needs to require the 3 knockouts when Vi just needs to use her ult and that's it. And we do see that Afro and Feedski hovering over both Urgot and Cho'Gath. Now Cho'Gath is a great tank, and Urgot, we've seen people do a lot of Urgot down in the bot lane, so Urgot potentially going to be in the bottom, and maybe Corvals, or unless Feedski plays a really mean Urgot down in bot. And Afro Dynasty locking in Alistar. Alistar, just a great tank, has that ultimate reduction. He even buffed it. His mana regen and the mana cost on his spell rotations is now reduced. So we're going to be seeing a lot more knockups and headbutts coming in from Alistar.
With the Xin Zhao being picked by Abusement Park team, Xin Zhao is a very difficult champion to use against many other characters because you have to save that audacious charge to follow up whatever stun, snare, or other that they have in order to create distance between you and them. If you initiate with Audacious Charge, then they just, Zyra, I'm going to use Zyra as the example here. You initiate with Audacious Charge, Zyra just gets that snap snare off on you and just walks away, drops some slow plants, and just keeps walking away, and you can't really do anything to her. You have to wait for that cooldown to come up again before you get another chance at going in. And by then, you've taken a whole lot of damage. And it's a similar issue with Alistar. If you Audacious Charge into anything before Alistar has spent his headbutt, he's just going to kick you back out of the fight, and then you kind of have to walk on back into things. So, Xin Zhao here, I don't feel as if that champion's chances are going to be particularly good in this matchup so far, just based off of what I've seen. And, talking about some of the other picks that have gone through here. We have Jackson Poppy, and Poppy has been played a lot by Error Code. The two names here, there's Error Code, they're Error Codes that they just, they wrote down for their names. And since they're difficult to say, the one with the 4 zeros at the end is going to be Error Code 0, and the one with the 1 0 0 at the end is going to be Error Code 1, because I don't know any better way to refer to them. So that's kind of what we're running with there. But to talk back about Poppy and Jax, both good late game heroes. Poppy late game burst becomes very difficult to manage, and her durability also remains pretty high. And Jax, while he starts out squishy in the beginning of the game, he's one of those champions that can easily get away from you as time passes. Jax in sort of a similar boat as Xin Zhao, though. It's if he has his leap strike, he has to pocket it until after crowd control has been applied to him in order to recover the gap that's created. So we're going to see a lot of Xin Zhao and Jax walking up to their opponents. Maybe, depending upon how much CDR they get at varying stages of the game, might see some of those initiations, them eating a little bit damage and then catching up. But overall, it is risky for them to just jump in, leave their gap closer on cooldown, and try and fight against Ali Zyra. They can just easily kick them out.
Yeah, and Brand being the final pick, so we're gonna see Corval on that Brand. So it's gonna be one of his signature champions. I've seen him play some Brand before. Does a really mean Brand. So this matchup is gonna be interesting. We have the one side with all the jumps that they want to just dive onto one side. Meanwhile, on the other team, they have anti-dive. They have CC to lock them up and catch them out before they can even get right in. So on the blue side, we have Abusement Park, Chain Gang taking that Braum, Poppy Seed Oil rocking hit the signature Poppy, error code 0, or I will call him 10,000. Yeah, that's 10,000. He'll be walking that Jin Zhao. 100 will be rocking the Fizz, and opposite for Noobs taking his Jax down in the bot. And I'm GG Bay with co-casting with me is
Gander of the Gaming Clan, Vato Clan, and on Whine and Cheese's team, we're going to have Practice Yellow Zyra, Crowd playing as Pantheon, Afro Dynasty Alistar, the Feedski playing as Urgot, and Corval playing as Brand. And I kind of want to echo what GG Bay said earlier, is that we have not seen a substantial amount of Braum play in Dominion competition. That's for a combination of reasons. One, Braum's a really new champion. It usually takes a little bit before a new character gets sort of incorporated into the roster of champions that players use. Secondly, it's because he has eaten a lot of bans. Braum is a powerful tank, has a lot of crowd control, brings some really good things to the table. And thirdly, in part because Dominion competition sort of took a little bit of a hiatus for a while, and now that it's back, I'd give it like one more week. Once after the 5-week mark, we can really kind of start saying, hey, last 5 weeks, last month, it's been like this, and sort of start to get a sense of where the game is at right now from a competitive standpoint. So there's been a little bit of catching up to reality for everyone involved, players, commentators, you guys, in the audience, like having not seen Braum before. Also, thank you everyone for coming out to the show today. Thank you, Man for putting on the tournament. Nice to be able to have something to do after having my last 2 weeks off. It's nice to be back in front of the production, direction, whatever you want to call my job with XSplit. It's going to be a lot of fun here. And take a look at the picks again. Feedski on Urgot. Urgot is a great champion because of the damage reduction that he brings. He tags anyone, he has that passive, and he reduces the damage that they deal by a noticeable amount. And that is really, really useful, especially when you have durable characters like Pantheon and Alistar on your team, because it gives them so much more lifespan. I mean, Alistar pops his ult, his stats go crazy, and whoever it is that's attacking him gets tagged by Urgot, and their damage output drops, and Alistar just becomes an immovable object. And those are characters that work really well with each other. I think that's probably one of the most underrated things about Urgot is his passive. I mean, everyone sort of knows it's there, but it has a massive impact on every game. I wish that there was a way to track it so you could see at the end of the game how much damage did Urgot prevent from happening by the end of the game. That'd be a really cool number.
This is a little bit of a stretch before we get right into the game. So right now, we're just loading up, and we have this game's going to be interesting. We have 4 melees at the top versus probably double melee, double ranged, and I guess you could count Pantheon as ranged if you want to count his spear shot. But looking at the bot lane, if it's Jax and Brand, I have a feeling that Brand should be able to take the early harass onto Jax, but Jax may be able to turn it around with that exhaust that he's running.
Alright, we are in the game now, and I have to turn the sound back on actually, because I have it off when I like play like for serious games, so I can pay attention during that one. Okay, so sound should be back on now, and on the left side we have Abusement Park. On the right side, we have Whine and Cheese. Let's see this KDA turned on for everybody here. And game will get started in a few moments. We're going to have Jax heading on down to the bottom. He's going to go up against Corval's Brand. And heading up top, we're going to have a nice meaty wall of champions from Whine and Cheese's team heading up there. Panther got Ali. So let's have to see how this windmill fight plays out. Now we're seeing a Sheen first on Poppy, something that historically Poppy's been able to do. It really helps Poppy's damage output in the initial fight. We're seeing a mana potion there as well. So Poppy looking to throw down at the very beginning of this, and as long as you have a couple people with boots, you can always skip one person on the boots because they'll just be able to get it on their first back. So we're going to have that extra damage output up here, as long as Poppy camps Poppy's cooldowns really well.
Yeah, so now we're just seeing the teams do their standard thing, move up, a nice shield in front, just to block some of Feetsky's acid charges coming in, acid hunters, I mean, and the stun does get onto Aphrodite. Fizz jumps right in, gets ignited, Trickster's out. Jin Zhao, on the other hand, he's taking a lot of damage. This is the team of 4 melee versus 2 range, 2 melee. There is a big difference in the amount of damage being thrown out. Zyra, on the other hand, Practice Yellow, gonna cap that Poppy Seed Oil, jumping right in, stuns Crow against the wall. Aphrodite putting some smacks with the cow, and Feetsky does pick up the kill. Aphrodite taking down pretty low. Poppy Seed does pick up the kill. Crow just getting knocked back, but the plant just helping enough damage to take down Poppy Seed Oil. Meanwhile, I bought the burn. It could have taken down. No, it just, it just barely takes down Opposite for Noob's Jax. And right now, we do see that Purple Team has the clear advantage, just showing up in the very beginning of the game, like just 3 minutes in already.
Yeah, there was very good zoning going on up at that initial windmill fight that enabled them to pick up the tower very, very easily there. Fizz with a really good recall here, knows that the enemy team is going to be on their way back, so he decides to get the heck out of there before anything can happen. Corval's actually going to his tower neutral by error code 10,000. Crowd going to pick him up with a stun, and Xin Zhao's actually going to turn around and go for that. Looks like waiting for Jax for some backup here. Jax doing a good job of dodging that pillar. We see him not using that leap strike to go in. Going to blow the counter attack now and be taken down, unfortunately.
Yeah, now that's going to be they're going to probably get the neutral at bot. Meanwhile, back at top, they're going to get that neutral down. So it will be a 3-2 cap going back towards Purple Team as they capture the Boneyard and the Quarry. But Revive's not being up on Jax or Xin Zhao during that fight costed them their point. And in the end, Windmill is now taken. Now we do see that everyone's just moving about, running around with their items, trying to find a pick and just adapt to each other's gameplay. Remember that this is a best of 3. Pantheon seems to be ulting on top of the tower, and he does get the ult off. No one gets hit by it. 100 is in a really sticky situation, caps it, and Feetsky on the other side, he's going to corner him. Doesn't land the acid hunter, but will take him down with a couple of autos. Gets the slow, gets the dot, and secures the kill.
Windmill is going to be picked up. Zyra chasing Xin Zhao away. Xin Zhao going in with that Audacious Charge. Practice Yellow. There you go. See that Audacious Charge down for a few seconds. Xin can't connect to Practice Yellow. Practice Yellow gets to remain alive, and Xin Zhao is defeated, unfortunately. And that's one of the weaknesses of Xin Zhao that we're seeing highlighted there, especially in the against Zyra matchup. A bottom tower under Corval's control right now, opposite for Noobs. You don't want to dive that. Jax, again, squishy in the early game. He's more of a late game nightmare than anything else.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a dispute fight down at the Storm Shields, and they were able to secure it onto Urgot. And now we're going to see potentially a fight down at bot. Braum comes in, gets the stand behind me onto opposite for noobs. Chain Gang not being able to deal enough damage, doesn't have that exhaust. Ooh, that Q actually just nearly doing enough. Missing out the Glacial Fissure. If he lands one more Winter's Bite, won't land. But Poppy Seed Oil takes down Feedski and Brand. Feedski had that Storm Shield. Surprised that Poppy Seed was able to take him down one-on-one.
And Crowd is going to be able to get the interrupt against Braum here. Gets around behind him. Start applying that damage. Chain Gang is going to be chased away. Opposite for noobs goes in. There's the Leap Strike counterattack. Jack's combo standard. Krog being chased. Poppy Seed is going to pick up the cap on that tower. Jack's going to take down Pantheon.
The quest now is up, and blue team will need this. It's a 4-1 capper now, so we do see that Corval's just sitting in the bush waiting for Opposite for Noobs. Opposite for Noobs shows up, he lands a stun, and Corval's just gonna wait it out, kite back, just do some harassment, while Opposite for Noobs, when he goes in for Corval, he has to all in. It's his only chance. Chum in the Water does not connect onto anyone, and Chain Gang and 100 are in a really situation. Here comes 10,000 getting the knock up onto Feedski. Feedski one hit away from being stunned. Pantheon all coming in. Here comes Afro Dynasty from the back. Nice combo from him. Gets the kill. Oh, does not get the Urchin Strike to kill, finish off Feedski, and Feedski barely lives just with under 100 HP. Meanwhile, back at the drill, Poppy Seed Oil just dumpsters onto Practice Yellow. This is where Poppy Seed Oil and his Poppy just come in. A lot of damage coming in for a Poppy Seed Oil. Just pops that W and he's already gone. That's the reason why Poppy is just a really surprising pick. You just don't expect the amount of damage he's gonna do. Meanwhile, Brand being able to take the bottom point, taking out to putting it as a neutral, and here comes Pantheon. Pantheon jumping in. Corrosive Charge does land onto 10,000 and does go down into after a couple of Acid Hunters and a Spear Shot, but here comes blue team. Abusement Part trying to regroup, but they lose the quest, so that's going to take a lot of damage. They're going to also get the damage buff onto Whine and Cheese, and another fight ensues. Poppy Seed Oil uses that ultimate, gets the kill onto Corval, but here comes Crowd. Crowd just doing a lot of damage. He has that passive. One of the reasons why Pantheon is such a great pick against Poppy, his insta-kill shot, his certain death will always guarantee a kill, even on Poppy, whose passive is just broken.
100 getting a good jump away from Pantheon there, not going to be able to get stunned at that particular moment. 10,000 going to pick up the point, puts it back into a 3-2 cap situation, but they're still substantially behind in Nexus health at the moment. Poppy heading around the lower part of the map. No, looks like she's going to take a turn for the upper portion now. Afro Dynasty doing some spotting. This is going to be chased away. Chasing them right over towards Zyra as well. Afro staying out in the front away from his team to provide that crowd control. And Zyra throwing down a little bit of AoE there. Crowd is looking for someone to engage on. He gets that ult on him, brings it away from his allies. Good play on him. Zid and Urgot up at the top having a discussion over Windmill. Looks like Afro Dynasty may actually go down here in a couple of moments. Living for quite a while is going to be defeated. So their main front line has been dismantled in this fight. Poppy actually going to go for the quick recall here. And oh dear! Didn't get interrupted. I thought for sure that's what was going to happen, but she was able to escape. So now Poppy is going to be back full health and mana before Alistar is going to get back because of that recall and Alistar being dead. There's going to be a little bit of advantage time there.
Yeah, and while that was all going on, Corval picks up the kill onto error code 100 and does take the kill in the end, burning that flash, using the Pyroclasm, and just tagging him with that. What is Brand? See, I have not played Brand in Conflagration, and now we're back to the 3-2 cap. Abusement Park, they seem to be getting abused. Last time we saw them, they were doing a great work, but from what we're seeing, Whine and Cheese just has the better overall champion picks. The champion select, the pick and ban, just went in favor of Whine and Cheese due to the fact they picked a very, very well-rounded top comp. Meanwhile, down at bot, for the blue team, they didn't pick that well, and Pantheon pops that all, jumps onto the tower, does not connect with anyone. Meanwhile, down at bot, Corval does go down in the end. Poppy's 4C jumping onto Crow getting marked up. Poppy You're good. You're taking down pretty low. I don't know if that pass is gonna help. Oh, not enough. Passive just doesn't help against the burn. Corval, on the other hand, trying to do as much damage, does get the burn mark onto Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao does go down in the end, and Jax as well to follow. Now, Chain Gang, you're forced to run away, man. Where are you gonna run? You have a Pantheon chasing right behind you, and you have a Corval on Brand, who's gonna land. Either if either one of them lands one stun, you're kind of done for. Meanwhile, Urgot chasing Fizz, and Fizz does have that Storm Shield, but Feetsky, he wants to continue pressuring. Chum on the Water does land, but Afro Dynasty coming in with the headbutt. Poppy Seed slams him into the wall, pops a heal, and they're going to continue this with Practice Yellow on Zara coming in from behind. They're going to potentially get this cap unless Blue Team has something to do to stop it. This game is just a complete stomp, in my opinion, for Whine and Cheese. I don't know how Abusement Park just got abused like that. Potentially the champion select, potentially their picks overall. Who knows? It could have been their communication.
It comes down to them having had a lot of melee champions against characters that brought a lot of crowd control to the table. The melee characters that they have not really been getting the engagements that they want in order to be able to try and get things done. You know, we brought that up with Zen at the beginning. We also mentioned that with Jax. You know, Poppy also a melee character. And when you have Alistar and Zyra hanging around, you know, Alistar kicks people out of the fight. Airborne helps create distance for the squishies. Zyra and Brand can get back, kind of do whatever they want.
Yeah, and just only 3 more Nexus Life left for Abusement Park, and they're gonna get, and Fizz will just get taken down right there, and that's the game. So game 1 of this best of 3 going over to Wine and Cheese, and we're gonna hopefully Abusement Park can pull it back, force the game 3. Otherwise, Wine and Cheese gonna look for that clean 2-0 sweep.
Okay, we'll be at the outcome screen in just a moment. Just trying to bring up the bracket, but the bracket does not like to stay loaded on my screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. And post-game screen. We'll bring that up for you. And we're going to go into the next game right away here.